We're doing okay. We could always use a few new volunteers. People move away and get old like me, and so we always have a turnover. We're actually going to be doing a training session sometime in January. Stay tuned for that information.
Oh, good.
So we'd love to have some new people that are willing to come out and do crazy things like this.
What would the training session be like, Edie?
Most of the time it's on the job training, so to speak, but we would equip you with some information to keep yourself and animals safe on the beach, teach you to ID certain species of whales and seals, and basically sort of scoop you up into the team. Like I say, most of the stuff is done sort of on the job training, so that you really learn as you go along.
What kind of time requirement is needed to do this?
Basically, hang on a second. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm Edie Ray with the Nantucket Marine Mammal Stranding Team. I called Gardner McDonald to try to get permission to get up here.
Yeah.
We've got a dead whale right behind the Green Hills house.
Yeah.
So.
My father's the caretaker here, so.
Oh, okay. I've actually left 2 of my team members sheltering in the house.
Yeah.
We're going to run back and grab a car or next to the house.
Okay.
But we may come out tomorrow.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
And access down that way? Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, Edie, you're such a diplomat.
Well, it helps to know a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So what we asked.
So the time
Oh, time.
constraint.
Well, we understand that this is a volunteer team. It's all volunteers, and it's just like if you can go, you go. If you can't, that's okay. We'll call you again. So it's basically, you know.
How often do you meet?
We've tried to meet once a month. That isn't always feasible because, you know, people are working and they have kids or whatever. But we generally try to meet once a month. We don't meet in the summertime because everybody's very, very busy, obviously, in the summertime. But generally starting like sometimes in the fall, sometimes January, we try to get together once a month. We get email information, you know, everybody's contact information, so we try to keep everybody apprised as to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But we're called out to do things like help disentangle seals, keep track of dead whales, keep track of live whales, and it isn't necessarily a physical thing that you'd be asked to do. It might be, you know, we call you up and say, geez, could you kind of go over and check on this beach? We heard there might be a seal there in distress. So, you know, there's room for people that are physically fit. There's room for people that are less so. And basically, we take all comers.
How many members do you have right now?
On paper, we have quite a few, but at any given moment, because it is a volunteer team, you know, it's sometimes just 1 or 2 people that are able to cut free and respond. And that's the biggest problem. If we can get a large number of people on the list, our chances of connecting up with someone that's able to drop whatever they're doing and head to something increases.
So I guess the more people you have, the more likely.
Absolutely, the more trained people.
More trained people
And-
you have, you have a better
Right.
ability to help these
Better
animals.
response, yeah. Because these things are all federally protected, we work with the New England Aquarium in Boston, who holds a federal license to rescue and rehab these creatures. So we work under their auspices. We're their volunteer arm out here on the island. We also work very closely with the Nantucket MSPCA, who has just been incredibly helpful over the years with dealing with some of our sick and injured critters, mostly
Birds
seals.
too, though?
Well, we mostly do seals, but
Okay.
because everybody knows I'm like a bird lady, people
Oh.
call me about birds too.
Right.
But the stranding team mostly deals with seals and whales and dolphins and sea turtles. What people definitely need to know is we are not psychic, and so we need to have people call us when they see something in trouble or when even they think something is in trouble. We rely on the kindness of strangers to report to us, and the way that's done is actually through the Nantucket Police Department. And you would
So
call
cool.
508-228-1212. Never, ever dial 911,
Right.
because that's for human emergencies.
Right.
And the police department have actually given us a pager. So what they'll do is they will then go ahead and page whichever one of us is on call, and we'll get right back to you. So that's the most important take-home message from this experience, is to please let us know. Sometimes we find out 3 weeks later about things, and by that time it's too late to help the animal.
So in the case of this poor whale, if the aquarium doesn't come down, would it just sit there to float?
It'll float around. It's been moving. It's come all the way from Tom Nevers Pond, where we first got a report, clear around, and it's been up and down this beach. When we left it yesterday at about the same time, it was actually moving south. And then this morning it was well north of where we left it. So the currents are very, very strong here off this, and it drops away quite quickly to deep water. So it's you know, moving back and forth. I don't feel comfortable putting any of our stranding team members in the water to try to lasso this thing. It's not really, I don't believe, worth someone's life to do that right here, because this is a pretty scary place off this beach here. What we would like to do is to get a line on it and get it anchored so that we can secure it, so that the New England Aquarium can send a necropsy team out here. A necropsy is an animal autopsy. The other thing is that there's been a very high mortality of humpback whales, an unexplained high mortality for humpback whales recently. Somewhere in the vicinity of 10 to 18 unexplained whale deaths, humpback whale deaths, since I believe March. So there's high interest in figuring out why this particular baby whale died. It doesn't look visually like there was any human interaction. It doesn't look like any scarring from being caught in nets, or you know, cuts from boats or anything like that. So we don't know why it died, so it would be important to get some skin samples, some tissue samples, etc. The other thing that we were very keenly interested in is getting really good photographs of the tail of the whale. The tail of the whales, of humpback whales, are basically like a fingerprint. And there is a library of all the known humpback whale tails. So they can actually, if this is a whale that has been seen and photographed before, they can say, oh yes, this is Fred, it's, you know, Ethel's baby. So that type of information is really, really important to find out what's going on. 3 weeks to a month ago, there were humpback whales actually breaching right off the end of the runway over by Nobodere and that area. And it was reported to us that there was an adult with a calf. So whether this is the calf is pure conjecture. I mean, we don't know. But like I say, if it's a known whale, we may be able to get a specific ID on this animal, which would be important to know. So anyone that might have taken pictures of the whale, if they wanted to get in contact, that would be really helpful. And any sightings in the future, be they live, dead, or otherwise, we're definitely interested.
So it's okay for people to come down and take a look at it?
Yes, but they mustn't touch it.
Right.
A, it's illegal because it is a federally protected thing. But B, like I always say, you don't know where that whale has been. And you don't know what pathogens it might have.
Right.
And because it is a marine mammal, there are certain diseases that can be transferred. So like anytime we're dealing with seals or whales or dolphins or anything, we're gloved up. You know, we're not going to be mucking around in somebody's innards.
Okay.
So, and also pets. You don't want your dog licking at this thing or you know, doing any of that.
Right.
Because you could catch something. So be warned. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful opportunity to get to see a whale close up. It's sad, of course, that it died, but you know, if you're interested in coming out to see it, by all means. If it is anywhere other, if somebody sees this whale anywhere other than between Hoyks Hollow and Sacajah Pond, we'd really appreciate a call, because we kind of need to keep tabs on where it is.